Hello, this is a bit of a different video, but I recently have been flooded with different thoughts about art and just life in general. I tend to always keep my thoughts in my head, and if I do share them, they're only with specific people, or I tend to delete whatever I share due to feeling a bit insecure about those thoughts. But I think the thoughts that flow through your mind hold the potential of inspiring another in ways you couldn't even fathom. I am also in a phase of complete self-identity rejuvenation, and the one thing that does not allow is insecurities. So I decided to express my thoughts here, and hopefully they are of use to you in one way or another. I appreciate you listening and, of course, your existence. While I talk, I'll be working on knitting my first sweater using Mohair from Wool in the Gang. One of the best ways to get your work out there these days, whether it be digital art, textile art, or traditional, is through social media. Platforms like TikTok and Instagram hold the potential of really offsetting your career as an artist. But of course, there's numerous amounts of cons with these platforms and also the act of using those to put your work out there. One of these cons is the fact that you have to post every single day to stay in the algorithm's favor. Of course, I believe a lot of artists have talked about this one point I'm bringing up, but this is honestly the first time I feel as if I can join the conversation with my own perspective and experience. I mainly create because I like to. I wasn't even trying to be a crochet artist, but I created my fall cardigan and genuinely wanted to continue to create. And thankfully, I got lucky enough to grow a beautiful community that enjoys the work I put out while creating their own to share with the world. This is mainly why I don't write patterns for purchase. I'm opening a shop soon because I genuinely want to one day become a professional designer, and I feel like this would be the next step into doing so. But as of now, the videos and posts I put out are just for fun. I created a TikTok as a diary of cute little moments, but then I posted a crochet video and, well, the algorithm ate it up, and so did I. The next day after posting the TikTok, I felt a sort of pressure, not from others, but mainly from myself, to post again in order to make all of my new followers happy. Now, I'm gonna backtrack for a bit. I've been watching this amazing, beautiful creator named the Wizard Liz, and I've really been working on myself and the importance of being secure in yourself, and with her videos and events in my personal life, I've been shifting into a new chapter of life, into a stronger, secure, happier version of myself I never thought was even possible. So while I felt the pressure of wanting to post again and again for my new followers, at the other point of my mind, I knew that's the last thing that I wanted to do. TikTok is just for fun. If it's for fun, there shouldn't be any pressure. These two parts of me began to conflict with one another, and it became really interesting what was going on in my mind. It reminded me of the moments when I went through my depression, and there was a part of me telling myself that I'll be okay. It's okay to feel these feelings and to let them flow, but don't claim them as you. You are not these feelings. They're just emotions you have to feel at this moment. And then the other part of me that just wanted to jump off a cliff, but I'm not going to go deep into all that. I have these two conflicting parts of me constantly. I think it's due to me being in the process of becoming more emotionally mature. The previous me was very emotional and couldn't think past those feelings and acted out on them. The new me never does that. She thinks through her emotions. She lets herself feel those emotions. She knows what she wants and how to get it. She puts herself first, because if she doesn't, she will just get trampled by everything. And then there's the me in the in-between, which is where I stand now. I slowly walk towards the new me, but memories of the past me like to capture my mind, and it enjoys when I reminisce of them to the point where I want to return. But the awareness that I have now allows me to ignore those pleas and continue on to the new me. But a lot of people aren't at that point in their life yet. I've barely even scratched the surface of reaching this new emotional maturity due to being a late bloomer in life. And I say all this because when you begin to thrive online, you can easily get swept up by the numbers and positive comments. You feel the need to work harder because all of the blissful adrenaline you receive with every like you get, but you're already working hard. Just because this artist and this small business posts every single day doesn't mean you have to. Sometimes I'll scroll on Instagram and see some artists post and check the dates and see that they've posted new projects consistently for like 3 to 4 months when those projects would have taken me ages to to complete. And sometimes I'm like, how the hell did they do this? And how can I become faster? How can I complete projects even faster than I usually do? But before I even finish going down that thought pattern, I tell myself, Mija, why are you comparing yourself to them? Whatever they've got going on for themselves has absolutely nothing to do with you. So what if they can finish 5 sweaters in 30 minutes? Amazing job for them, but that has nothing to do with you. You know why? Because they are not you. You are on your own separate journey, and so are they. You don't know what's going on in their day-to-day life. Whatever they've got going on, it doesn't matter because it's not you. Whatever you've got going on, that's what matters. Why? Because that is you. So who cares if you don't finish 5 sweaters in 30 minutes and can't post until next month? That's your pace. And rushing it to conform to the quick pace of posting and keeping up with the algorithm is just going to burn you out to the point of you never wanting to make another sweater again. And then after that, I just close Instagram and go play Fortnite or something. Now, this is from the perspective of someone who just does it for fun. What about artists that want to make a living from their art? The pressure is 10,000 times stronger. Especially with the algorithm changing every 2 seconds, making it harder and harder for artists to thrive, especially if they don't even want to make videos in the first place. It's like videos is the main source of getting your work out there, and I honestly wish that wasn't the case. I know so many people that love creating but aren't skilled in making videos. They produce music, they paint. What does that have to do with videos? They don't want to make videos. They want to make music. They want to paint. But the way social media works now is that if you don't make a video, then are you really thriving as an artist? Can you really build your small business if you don't capitalize on reels? It's a madhouse. And due to that, they have no choice but to make reels and stress about adding a camera into their daily tasks. Some tend to fall in love with it, but others can't stand it and just do it to get themselves out there. I'm fortunately someone who has always loved making videos since I was little. I would always download videos from YouTube and edit them on Windows Movie Maker just to edit them, but there's so many people that just don't prefer to be in that same medium. And they tend to work 10 times harder just for someone to see their art. They'll make reel after reel, TikTok after TikTok, and force themselves to create more pieces of art even when they aren't inspired or have a want to create that day in the first place. You can't unalive yourself for the sake of making a piece or painting or 8 videos just for the algorithm to possibly pick it up or for people to glance at it one time. You have to truly find a balance for yourself. If you want to make those 8 videos, then okay, do that. But make sure you stretch and drink your water and go for a walk and spend time with your friends or family and enjoy life. You can't be an artist if you don't live, and living isn't through the screen. There's also the pressure of even posting in the first place or making art for money. I'm not about to get deep into the capitalism talk because we all know that's the main cause of that, but I just want to say that you are still worthy even if you create art for yourself. If you don't want to make a living off your art or just post to share what you create and for nothing else, even if you don't want to post about your art at all, your art is still worthy and you are still worthy. If you create something monumental and everyone around you is saying, you should sell that, you should start a business, but you don't want to, don't do it then. Because a lot of times that capitalist mindset is what kills the art and the artist in the first place. One day, when I was in the first half of 11th grade, I went to this show with my mom and my brother. My brother is a music producer and he had a set performance, so we were backstage while everyone was setting up when one of his producer friends came up to me and my mother and asked us what our names were. When it was my turn, I smiled and said Mijanou. His eyes raised and he said, "Wow, that's an artist name. It's nice to meet you." Now, I don't remember who this man was, what he looked like, what his voice even sounded like, but I'll always remember those words because I've always wanted to be an artist. Art is what makes life thrive to me, and to this day, I work hard to make sure what he stated about my name comes true. At that point in time, I was really into dance. I would learn every K-pop dance I could and even choreographies from 1 Million Dance Studio. But at the same time, I sort of felt as if it were a waste of time. I would always try to learn a new dance and give up 30 minutes later, telling myself it's such a waste of time to do those things. I wish I never thought those thoughts, and I'm not even sure why I had those thoughts because I had such a supporting family. If you're not supportive of yourself though, no other support will matter. Later, I learned that those moments aren't a waste of time because if you're not quote-unquote wasting time on the things you love, then what's the point of life anyways, you know? Life should be just using your time to delve into what makes you happy, whether it be dancing to I Need You by BTS or slapping stickers into an A4 journal. I wanted to be an artist. That was the forefront of every thought of the question, what do you want to do after you graduate? I didn't care as long as I was able to create. Wanting to be a dancer transitioned into wanting to be a chef, which I don't know where that came from, since I still forget to put water in my ramen sometimes. And that transitioned to wanting to be a cinematographer and a photographer. I joined the photography club at school even though I couldn't afford a camera and just took photos with my old Samsung tablet. After I graduated, I wrote endless scripts and would daydream listening to songs that flowed with the concepts in my mind. The only reason those films didn't come into fruition was because I didn't really have anyone to talk to around that time besides coworkers. So they went to the back burner, since at the time I was pretty shy and the concept of me asking people to act in my films was just a big no-no. I actually got one person to star in a film I was working on, but halfway through filming, he was like, "Are we done yet?" And I was just like, yeah, we're done. And just proceeded to delete everything. I went to community college for cinematography and got to make some projects with similar-minded people, which was fun, but I later dropped out due to not having money for a math textbook. Just don't ask about that, okay? Me and math are not friends. After that, I would make little videos here and there, even starting a couple vlogs on an old YouTube channel about BTS concerts I went to, and even an outfit video that I unfortunately deleted. I knew I wanted to make something with film because that's the one medium where you can combine it with anything. Music videos, movies, concepts, acting, modeling. It all revolved around the camera. Throughout that time, my love for music grew tremendously deeper. I bought a guitar and would practice on and off, but I wasn't really heading anywhere with any of that. I kept wondering, am I even an artist or am I just hobby jumping? I say I'm a photographer, but what do I have to show for it? Self-portraits? There's only so many self-portraits I can take. Due to personal reasons going on in my life at the time with homelessness and money, I just stopped altogether. I worked at a restaurant with nothing pushing my creativity up and ended up losing myself pretty badly at that time. It wasn't until I quit and began working at a cafe where so many artists work and hung out at that I was able to find myself wanting to create again. I didn't mean to throw my whole life story in there, but it comes hand in hand in the question that I ask myself constantly even to this day. Am I an artist? Is what I do considered art? Has the concept of art changed in this new generation? Am I even considered in my own concept of art? Is what I consider art even worthy of that title? There's a lot of debate about what art is and what an artist is. When you look up art, the main thing that tends to pop up is painting, digital painting, sketches. Some people only consider certain mediums to be art if it truly expresses what they want to see in it. If they can't understand the message or meaning behind a certain medium, they'll shrug it off as an artist just trying too hard. So my question to myself is, how can I myself see myself as an artist? Will I believe myself to be one once I create the sculpture with clay that I've been wanting to create so badly? Will I believe myself to be one once I create the most original piece there is on this earth? Or will I succumb to only stating that I'm someone who is creative, but not one deemed artist title worthy? Even now when I say I'm an artist, I cringe a bit because what art have I put out? What art have I created that I deem as inspiring, creative, moving? What art have I created that helps the community prosper? There are many artists out there that I know have created beautiful films about individuals, documentaries on communities, and I just make YouTube videos. What in the end will make me an artist? Will it be when I learn how to paint? Or what if I create a crochet sculpture? Should I stop thinking of artists in a certain box of what is an artist and what isn't? Should I write a book? Unfortunately, I cannot answer this question at this time. I can only continue to wonder. I do believe, however, there is an art to crafting what lies in your head into a physical form in the real world. Bringing an idea to life that only you imagined, that's an art in itself. Even better, as you are bringing it to life, you think of more ideas for not only the project you're working on, but projects to come later on. Experimenting and having patience with yourself as you construct pieces together that only one can see in their own mind. That's art. And the person that does that, that's an artist. I also believe that while I may not see a piece as art, another individual certainly will. They'll feel immensely inspired by the piece that I cried over for not being good enough. But what is that good enough thought? Good enough for what? What is the criteria for that? There isn't one. There's no criteria for good enough. Everything is good enough because it's coming from you. Unless you're presenting your piece to a panel of judges that have a list of demands of what your piece must contain, your work is good enough. Your art is good enough. Why? Because you put your soul into it. And your soul is definitely good enough to me. It's beautiful even. You are still an artist if you keep your art to yourself. You are still an artist if you never share it on social media or sell your pieces. You are still an artist if you work on your art every once in a while due to life getting in the way. You are still an artist if your work doesn't compare to this person or that person. It isn't supposed to in the first place. You are still an artist if you don't get a billion likes or views. You are still an artist because that is what you claim to be, and you don't have to prove yourself to anyone but you. I think that I am an artist at the end of the day. I need to convince myself a bit more, but sometimes I'll just shrug it off in general since it kind of is just a label. It's just a word, and if you conform yourself into the box that is a label, how do you grow? How will you grow? So instead, I'm just someone who loves to create. I'm Mijanou. And whatever falls under the label of Mijanou is a lot broader than what falls under the label of artist. I love to create with fiber, clay, moving photos, brushes, words, everything. My interests aren't limited to one medium, and being able to one day combine it all into one giant project seems incredibly inspiring and fun. And I think that's the main point of it all, is to just have fun with it. Yes, I become quite intolerable in the mind when struggling with certain pieces, but that's a part of the fun. Losing your mind just to find your peace of mind. And that peace of mind is seeing the completed piece in its physical form and glory. And all you can think of is, wow, I really did that. I said I was going to do that, and I did it. Now what's next? I have so many ideas. I write every single idea down and I get so excited for the moment I can do them. I'm always wishing I never had to sleep or to eat just so I can bring to life the many ideas that I have. I have so many goals and dreams that I never had before, and it's honestly thanks to you who support me, and I have nothing but immense love to give you. This inspires so many more ideas and gives me even more motivation to keep moving. I want to do more live streams, more videos, more activities that interact with you, and I want every moment to be perfect. I am a perfectionist. I think I will always be. If there is a detail that I don't like, I'm gonna fix it. I even look at past videos and wonder, is this how I edited this? How did I not realize that the audio was at 7 instead of 10? Why didn't I cut this extra half a second out? No one cares about that. But then I go easy on myself because the video was perfect for me at that point in time. That little thought helps me with feeling cringy about past things that I've done or felt. If I wonder, why did I think that or say that? That was so cringy. I'll counteract that thought with, it wasn't cringy at that time. I did truly feel sad at that time. I was angry at that time, so I had a right to say what I said. I had a right to feel what I felt, and that is not cringy. It's called being human. But when perfectionism tends to take up everything, at what point does it stop being human? Human is the eraser marks on the canvas behind the paint, the spilled wine stain on the carpet, the spelling mistakes in a 40-minute video. Those small flaws show just how human someone is. So it's okay to have errors or make mistakes. That way, as a human, you can learn. Perfectionism does have its pros and cons. It makes you work hard to pull out the idea from your head exactly as how you see it. And it doesn't let you stop until you do, which can be its con. Perfectionism can lead you to become obsessed with getting that perfect shot, or like me, taking a sweater apart a million times only for it to still come out differently. But allowing the concept of perfection to fade away and accept what is, that's letting the human come out. It's difficult for me to talk about perfectionism because I still struggle with it, honestly. A lot of my crochet videos, I always wonder why people like them so much. A lot of the pieces weren't good at all, but I keep in mind that each video displays my growth. Because that piece didn't look good, the next one is guaranteed to be better. When I'm focused on a piece and getting every detail exactly how I want, I can get stressed. I can shoo away everyone around me. I can disappear into a hole of laser focus, and no one really appreciates that. Not my body, not my family, and certainly not even myself. Perfectionism can definitely lead you into not taking care of yourself, and I've thankfully reached a point where I know that sometimes you just gotta force yourself to stand up, throw the project in a corner for a couple of hours, and go out for some ice cream. Enjoy the weather of the day, people watch, breathe. Realize that you are not your project. If you have flaws, how can you make a flawless piece? It's impossible. Everything has flaws, and I think that's what makes imperfection perfect. I hope all of this rambling made sense, and I appreciate you listening to my little TED Talk. The finished piece of this sweater made me pretty happy. I messed up a bit on the collar, but it's okay. It's my first sweater and my first time working with mohair, so in time, I'll know what to do and what not to do. The sweater is pretty cozy and it looks a bit itchy, but it really isn't. I'm just happy that I'm getting better at making sweaters because there's way too many ideas I have for them that you're, of course, going to see soon. And with that, I will end this video here. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you in the next one.